Joe Buck, who emceed the LaRussa event at Stifel. We talk life, baseball, golf, and a great charity Joe is now a part of. First of all, let's talk United Way and this initiative and how passionate you are about it.
Well, I mean, I think the main thing is that it's here in St. Louis. It's localized to my hometown and where I live. And when you consider that over 40% of people don't have the necessary funds for just basic needs and are making, life-altering decisions on where the money will go month to month, year to year, there is a definite need for it. So we call it Where the Heart Is. Bob Costas and I are joining forces, and I'm excited to be a part of it and see where this goes.
And when they ask, you just don't hesitate, do you?
No, I mean, I think I learned from the best in my dad that we're all fortunate to do what we do and to have a voice. And I mean, I don't do anything anyway. I raise 7-year-olds now and do 21 football games, so I have plenty of time to help.
All right, some other topics. Besides Tony La Russa's relentless energy, what else jumped out at you about his celebration night at Stifel?
I think what got me was the genuine love that the players had for Walt Jocketty, who I think was really underrated when he was here, and you look back at the body of work, and I think it's pretty mind-blowing. And then hearing the guys talk about Darryl Kyle and what a real leader means in a rotation on a ball club, how they take the young guys under their wing, they show them the right way to play, the right way to take care of people, the right way to tip. I don't know. I'm not in it anymore. I wonder if that's still going on, but I saw it, and I was a big fan of it when I was around it.
All right, let's talk golf. I was actually watching you perform last week at the American Century Celebrity Classic. Didn't want to bother you. You played well, finished in the top half. You beat Albert by a stroke. How'd you feel?
Those greens are so fast that you have the wrong mentality. I putted for birdie maybe 6 times from 8 to 10 feet the last day on Sunday, made none of them, and every time I stepped up to putt it, I was thinking about if I could make the putt after I missed it. Instead of trying to make the birdie putt, I'm like, don't bogey it. And that's just not the right way to play. So it was a blast. It's good for me to be around those guys and the female athletes that I cover in a social way, so that they don't look at me as like the old broadcaster. They look at me as another person, and we get to, maybe share a drink and talk about family.
Okay, in terms of the Cardinals, let's just say at the deadline, there's still a couple of games out of the final wild card spot. Would you think it's a better idea to just sell? You got Maton, you have Helsley, you have Max, you have some assets, or would you just try to play this out to the end and do anything possible to get that third wild card playoff spot?
What do you think my answer is going to be?
I'd say sell.
Yeah, you have to sell. In my opinion, this is my opinion, and I'm not in charge of their business model, and I don't know what getting potentially a home playoff game does for the end of their year bank statement, or maybe 2 playoff games. But it's time to be realistic. This team is not good enough to win it all, and that always seemed to be the goal. But just in my opinion, they are nowhere close to being able to compete for a World Series, and that's got to be the ultimate goal. So if you have a chance, in my opinion, to trade guys now, to get better, younger, more athletic, more dynamic going forward, that's the way to go, because just getting in should not be everybody. I think what happened was 2006 and 2011 said, well, if we just get in, then, who knows what can happen. Well, 2006 was loaded. They were just injured, and they got healthy right at the end of the year. We talked about that night with Tony. And then 2011, unless Albert Pujols in his prime is walking through the door, and Yadier Molina and Chris Carpenter, this team doesn't have that kind of core right now. So developing and redeveloping the core, I think, has got to be, the objective here.
What do you make of these attendance figures? 17th in Major League Baseball. The Colorado Rockies are outdrawing the St. Louis Cardinals. I know Joe Strom is like the best ticket guy in the country, but man, this is stunning.
Yeah, is it? I mean, I think this has been kind of a long, slow burn of people just saying, meet us halfway. Finding creative ways to make the team better doesn't always mean you have to spend millions upon millions of dollars. So I think the fans have every right, just like the Cardinal ownership has every right to determine where their business goes and who they're going to pay to bring in. And what they're going to add in season. Cardinal fans have every right to say, well, let's see it, and then I'll come down there. It's hot as heck, and the team is who are you putting on a billboard right now?
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
You're a passionate Blues fan, and the biggest news, I think, of the offseason is that John Kelly lost his job. What's your reaction when you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a segment of hot takes here. It kills me. I'm sure they have their reasons, but from where I sit, it makes absolutely no sense. He's a great hockey announcer. He will land on his feet, but I will miss him. It has nothing to do with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale.
Yeah.
They're great. But to lose a trusted voice like John is a big deal.
Final thought. What do you think your dad would say about Joe Buck's career right now?
Well, I think he'd be proud. I think he would know that I've tried to do it the right way and be nice to people and say yes when people ask me for help. I've had a different career. Mine's been TV. My dad's was radio. My dad's was centralized here and had a massive shadow in this city. I've been kind of the mercenary going out doing different national events. Much different sensibility than what I do. But I will say this, I'm more proud of him than I am of myself.